All right, here's a video we're gonna do that's gonna have a component of hip mobility in it. We're gonna hope to kind of balance out your pelvis and therefore hips and low back. And then it's gonna have some body weight leg strengthening working in different planes of motion. But I wanna start on hands and knees here just to get a little bit of a hip mobility in this manner. I'm gonna show you a back view first, and then I'm gonna show you a side view. All right, just all fours position here. Here we go. Big circle around like this. I'm going as far out and around as I can. I'm going to do about 10 per side, and there's 2 directions you do on each hip. Reverse now. Still keeping it nice and big. Really trying to work as much of that joint space as I can. One more. Okay, let's go to the other side. Show you a side view now. Here we go. Nice big ones. So one of the benefits here is you can work your hip in this non-weight bearing way on one side, and then on the other side you get some stability going through that hip, and also you get some nice stability work through your shoulder joints. And of course your core is active here. Okay, let's reverse that circle all the way out and around. You kind of get that dog peeing on a fire hydrant motion here. One more. Okay, let's just quickly, while we're down here, just move through this child's pose up to a cobra. And in cobra, I like to just rock my hips side to side, let all the tension go out of the butt and pelvis, let everything just hang. Hold yourself up with your arms. Back to child's pose. Let's rock. I'm gonna bring my knees in a little closer. I'm gonna rock my weight into one side. I can feel this stretching a little bit deeper into my right glute region, which you might feel something different. But as I sit my weight more onto one leg, I get a more one-sided mobility stretch in that hip and low back. Feels nice. Central. Back up again. Shake it out. Now let's turn to look at the opposite heel if you can. You don't have to see it, but at least attempt it. Opposite heel. Opposite heel. And one more time this way. Opposite heel. Now let's go ahead and get up. All right. Get your feet parallel facing forward in about hip width, or maybe even a little more narrow if you can. Narrow is good in this exercise. Hip rotations, I use them a lot. Daily exercise, great for the body. Feet will stay in that position the whole time. I'm going to explore this whole circle as big as I can, all the way forward, right, back, left, and not skip any of it. Even if there's some pain involved, unless it's really sharp pain or you're in a really acute state, you want to work through that area and not skip out on that region that's either difficult to move through and or painful. Let's reverse it. Now as I'm doing this one, I'm making sure the movement is coming from the hips and pelvis, which is the dead center of my body. And what you can start to tune into is how your head almost stays in one place the whole time. It's kind of like your head stays balanced over your feet, and the center of your body, the hips and pelvis, move in a circle. Okay, now step out wider. Now we want that a little bit wider than hip width. Knees bent, feet parallel facing forward, and we're gonna get the hula hips here. Belly dancing, very good for your hips, pelvis, low back, and even gets movement up into your lower to middle back. Nice big fluid circles. Keep the rhythm. We're gonna go one direction. And now let's reverse and go the other direction. Let's get a little bit more active now. Let's just start with some of these stepping lunges or split squats. Nice and quiet. Trunk upright. Side view for you. Torso is upright. It's not falling forward at all. Front heel is on the ground. Back leg rolling on the ball of the foot. Just warming up the legs this way. Nice and easy. It's okay if you let your knee come a little bit forward here. Don't be worried about that unless you have a real knee problem. Now let's get a little bit of lateral movement, right? So we're gonna use this one where we're gonna keep one foot planted. So for me, it'll be my right. For you, it might be your left if you're mirroring me. And we're gonna step behind into a curtsy squat and step over into a lateral squat. So trying to keep my torso as upright as I can. This foot really never even moves, just stays right in place. So I'm working around this hip the whole time. And the strengthening is more in this opposite leg, even though you are strengthening, working the standing leg as well. That heel never comes up. Here on the ball of the foot, and here into the heel. Let's get two more. One more. Get a nice little elongation through these adductors and pop up. Okay, we're switching the legs now. Curtsy squat this direction. Over here. I like to use my arms out in front of me on a lot of these, especially this one, so it enables me to sit my weight back. I want to sit my weight back, especially on this one. That good strength to sit deep down into this, push myself up. Slow but fluid. Let's get one more. All right, now make it a little easier for a minute. These simple marches, bringing the opposite arm across the leg, touching to the outside of that knee. I want you to see the rear view so you can see the kind of rotation I'm trying to get into my hips and lower spine. Okay, slow it down now. Gain your balance, reach up, pull across, big deep breath. Same thing over here, up, your balance, trunk upright, hold, inhale, and on the exhale, twist. One more on each side, up, get your balance, relax everything, hold, inhale, exhale, let go, and twist. And one more. Good. Inhale and exhale. All right. Get some basic lengthening of the hip flexors. Just going to do some of these steps for a minute. Now I'm on the ball of the back foot right now. I'm not worried about getting that foot down to affect the calf here. I want to have a lengthening of the front of the hips, and I'm allowing my lower back to arch a little bit with this version of the hip flexor, anterior hip opening. Okay, a little more balance, hip strengthening work. You're going to balance on one leg. That leg's going to be straight but slightly bent at the knee. Opposite hand of the leg that you're balancing on. So for me, it's my right hand balancing on my left leg. I'm going to tuck this hand behind my back, and I'm going to try to touch the ground in front of my foot. Come back up. So I'm getting like a seesaw effect through my body. All my rotation is around this left hip joint. And when I show you the side view in just a second, I'm going to point out that I'm trying to stay as straight through my spine as I can. So just pure rotation right around the hip joint, minimal low back flexing if possible, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Fine tune it over time. Get two more. Now this one is hard for a lot of people to maintain their balance. So if you start losing your balance, just slow down, gain your balance, catch back up to me on the next rep or so. Okay, now I'm staying on my right leg, reaching with my left hand in my low back, just getting it out of the way. Notice this back leg, it's a counter to my torso. My torso goes forward, back leg comes up. This knee is not locked out. It's slightly bent, and if you have tight hamstrings, you might need to bend it even more. Sometimes I'll have to just touch down with my fingers or so just to gain my balance. Big balance challenge here, so you have to really focus. You'll feel that your foot really works to grab the ground. You don't even have to think about it, it just happens for you to be able to maintain your balance. Okay, nice. Let's get back to some lateral movement. Similar to what we did before, but let's just sit. Come up, shift, sit. The form, my foot is parallel facing forward. Right? Always I'm trying to maintain that this whole time. I shift my knee to where it's over that foot and I try to sit my hip back behind it. Knee shift, sit my hip back behind it. So ultimately I want to try to end up with a straight line from my hip, knee, from my foot, knee, and hip. Only go as low as you can, keeping good form. So I'm showing you a pretty deep one here, but you might find that this is more where you need to be, which is completely fine. Form over depth or quantity. Quality over quantity, right? This is really good, just like this. Let's get two more over to each side. One, two. Now stay in this wide stance. Get your torso upright. Let's bend your knees slightly. Let's just roll through the pelvis. I'm going to show you the side view because that's where you really might be able to see more of what I'm doing. It's a posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm upright, I'm rolling under, and I'm sitting down into it. I'm coming back. Now if you have tightness, you might feel this opening up into your higher inner thigh muscles or adductors, or your groin. You might or might not feel that. If you don't be alarmed, and if you do, good for you. You got some tightness in your high adductors. So we're gonna do it like this. Inhale up. Exhale, roll and sit down into it. Let your knees spread. Inhale up. Exhale, roll and sit down into it. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Okay, a little bit of strengthening here again. Show you the side view. We're going to stand on one leg and we're just going to do back slide outs. Try to keep as much weight into this front leg as you can. So I'm really trying to put as minimal weight on this as possible. Try not to push from this. And if you have a slippery surface, the wood floor or something like that, you can even wear a sock on this foot so it's harder to push from. Torso stays upright. Weight stays in this leg with the heel down. As far back as I can get and deep down if I can. If not, if you don't have the strength or mobility, just do what you can. Keep good form. Down and up. Build this ability to bring your body weight back up with a minimal push off. Lift it up. Two more. Okay, we're going to do the other side. I'm going to show the front view for this one. Want the foot parallel or facing straight forward. And I want this knee to stay in line with it in the lateral, medial to lateral plane here. I want this hip to sit right behind it. I want to keep as much weight on this foot as I can. Torso upright. Good steady breathing. I try to take my breath in through my nose and either out of my nose or out of my mouth. 2 more. Okay, a little bit of a break with the Chinese drum. Love this one. Feet are about hip width, maybe slightly wider. Knees are always bent. Weight down into the heels. Arms are like ropes hanging from your torso, dead weight. And the action is really driven by how well I can do this. I can turn my hips, turn my waist. And that turning, generated from the legs and the hips and the waist, that's what enables my arms to turn back and forth. And then if I can let my arms totally relax and wrap around my body, it'll pull my spine with it and give me some nice mid, lower mid, and upper back rotation. Head and neck stay facing forward. So everything rotates underneath my head and neck. Proper positioning of your head and neck is just basically like you're looking at somebody your own height in the eyes and maintaining that focus the whole time. Okay. We're going to do this upright pistol squat, and we're not worried about going low here. What we're trying to do is sit back, keep our torso upright the whole time as much as possible. This is going to be a quadriceps heavy exercise, and that happens by keeping your torso upright. The more you let it fall down, the less you demand of the quadriceps. Sitting back, bring yourself back up. This is as low as I go on this, keeping the form. An oldie but goodie. Two more. Let's go to the other side now. I'm going to show you the front view. Again, I like to use my arms reaching forward to enable me to sit back. The more I can sit back, the more I'll build that thigh, that quad strength. Trying to keep that knee from falling in. Two more. Okay, come back. After all that, let's rebalance the hips and pelvis out a little bit. Nice and easy rotations here. Get a fluidity to it. Keep those feet in that nice hip width, parallel stance. Reverse that. Okay, last two. Good old-fashioned leg swings. I like to hold my arms here for balance, and I like to just swing this leg. Let me show you from this side. Swing this leg really nice and relaxed, but I like to get it as far forward and behind me as I can without forcing it torso stays upright. Fix my gaze on something, maintain my balance. If you have a hard time keeping your balance, hold on to a wall or a chair, but try to hold on as little as possible. Okay, this one, front view, real simple. Just letting this leg, almost just totally letting it go. Totally letting it go. Letting just the relaxation and the momentum of the movement carry it back and forth. So it really relaxes into the hip joint rather than building that tension. All right, final thing here. Squat, deep squat. Play around with the width, there's no wrong, but I'd go a little wider than hips. We are trying to keep the feet parallel forward the whole time for hip mobility. You can't do that now, which a lot of people can't. Just work into it over time if you can. We're gonna sit down. Try to get in this position, get your body upright, and then up. Down. Wherever my feet are, I want my knees to try to get out over those feet in this direction. Up. Spread those hips out, get my butt down, my head up. Up. Let's get 3 more. Last one. Nice and low. Sit and stay in there if you can. You can even start to rock your hips side to side. Now, if you can't get into this like this and you want to have a little modification, it's totally fine to grab something stable and hold on to it about anywhere along this height and sit down. Get your body nice and upright. Okay.